Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in historic downtown Kernersville, where you can come out and social distance yourself all you want and enjoy the garden. Lots of beautiful things blooming, and the Welcome Center and Gift Shop are open as well. We'll tell you more about that coming up. But first, we want you to stay tuned for the entire program. The Roundtable will be here later on. They'll talk about all sorts of controversial topics. And one of our main themes we're going to address today is the hunger problem. Starting off with this group of great guys that want to help me with this. Next to me on my immediate right, David Daggett, attorney with Daggett Schuler. Back behind David, and again, we're social distancing today, is his partner, Griff Schuler, and they brought a special guest with them. Scott Best is executive director of something called HOPE, H-O-P-E, and we welcome all you guys to the program.
Thanks, Jim.
I mentioned that we want to talk about the hunger problem. Scott, I'm going to start with you if we can. First of all, what does H-O-P-E, I know it's HOPE, what does HOPE stand for, and what is your mission?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. HOPE of Winston-Salem. HOPE stands for Help Our People Eat. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing nutritious meals to children on the weekends. And in addition to meals, we provide fresh produce, fruits and vegetables to their families. And we distribute at 31 different distribution points in Winston-Salem.
Now, of course, this is a stupid question, but we know you've been doing some great work on the weekends, but now through the pandemic era, where kids weren't in school at all, how has that changed your mission?
So that enhanced our mission quite rapidly. The first week that schools are out of session, we were able to mobilize with some very strong partners of ours to start providing weekday meals, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, to 17 of our distribution sites all throughout Winston. And we've been able to double our meal production and meal distribution to kids in need.
I just think that's great. David, how have you guys been involved in this, and why is it so important?
Well, one of the things that people don't realize is the Triad area in Winston-Salem is one of the top areas in the country for food insufficiency for children. We don't recognize that. In North Carolina as a whole, North Carolina and Louisiana are the two worst states in the country.
That's right.
So being involved in helping feed children in our community is a tremendous service, particularly during these times.
Right, and Griff, I know that you and David and your team work with kids all year long doing various projects, you know, whether it's backpacks or helping with the Safe Sober Prom Night. So I know you're really behind this and think it's important too.
It's vital, and Jim, the thing is that we always want to look at the full health of a child, and so obviously David and I oftentimes talk about exercise and those type things, but eating right and being able to just get basic food is vital to every kid, and so it's something in the community that we have to get behind. We have to be able to provide food for kids.
Yeah, Scott, a lot of organizations, especially now, they're looking for donations. It could be donations of money, donations of time as a volunteer, donations of food, items, whatever. What are you looking for?
Definitely say a mix of the different ways to contribute. Funds are always welcome, especially in times like this where costs have definitely risen. Volunteering, lots of different opportunities, not big groups anymore, but lots of volunteer opportunities. And then product. Fruit is something, since we've doubled our meal production, we try to put a piece of fruit in every lunch, and coming by that has become a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So that's, as far as product goes, one thing that we're definitely
Well, I think it's great what you do. We have about a minute left. David, you have something you want to say?
I do. We have a little something for Scott that Griff and I want to deliver here.
I think you're wired up there, so see how far.
Can I lean? There we go. There we go,
What
Scott.
is that envelope says HOPE. What's in that envelope?
So it's a donation, and one of the things, Hope does a tremendous job and has developed a wonderful reputation. And I'm so impressed by the different corporations in town and groups who've supported Hope. We want to be part of that, and thank you for your efforts,
Well, I just
Scott.
think that's great. Thanks, David and Griff, for doing that. I want to put up on screen a website, hopews.org. We hope you will visit that, www.hopews.org for the radio listening audience. I hope you will take that down and visit. And also a shout out to the Daggett Schuler guys who've done so much for the community, continue to do so, and to help their clients as well. Their website is on screen, daggettschulerlaw.com, or you can call 724-1234. To David, to Griff, to Scott, thanks for everything, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
All right,
Appreciate it.
we'll be right back. And today, continuing our theme as we focus on hunger and the hunger problem in this area, I can think of no better person to help us through this topic than our special guest who's been with us before, and we're so glad he could come out and visit us at the garden. Eric Aft, the CEO of the Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina. It's a big area you cover, and thanks for being here. I know you're busy.
It is. It's a crazy time, but it's a difficult one for all of us.
Let me lead with this, Eric. How bad was the hunger problem in this area before the pandemic? And now, how has that changed?
It is a substantial struggle for our community overall. 1 in 5 of our kids, 1 in 7 individuals have struggled with hunger or food insecurity. And right now, we are seeing numbers like I don't think any of us would ever imagine. Our partner agencies are seeing an increase of anywhere between 40 to over 100% of new clients who are coming to get assistance for the very first time.
You mentioned kids, as did the folks from Daggett Schuler when they brought on, as you saw the segment earlier with Scott Best from Hope, really focusing on kids. The childhood hunger thing just continues to be a really tragic thing, and I don't think many people are aware of it.
It is, you said the right word, tragedy. And Hope and many others are great partners with Second Harvest, and we're proud to work with them. You know, we are also doing a lot of outreach work in Parks and Rec locations, at school locations, along with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools, and working in other counties as well. Just in the past week, we provided over 29,000 meals to kids.
Good grief.
Yeah, and we don't know if we're reaching everybody.
And as we said, I sort of wanted to make sure I got in the whole title, Northwest North Carolina, because, I mean, what kind of area are you covering?
Well, it's the 18 counties, we say, from Boone to Burlington down to Statesville to the Virginia line. That 29,000 actually is here in Forsyth County. We're doing a lot of other outreach work in Ashe County right now, so up towards the mountains, where we're providing about 600 meals weekly. We're doing some outreach work, especially with seniors in Guilford, but there's work to be done across the entire region.
How are you keeping up with the demand of all this stuff? It seems like it's getting tougher and tougher every day. How are you doing it?
Well, you're right. Actually, last week alone, we distributed 633,000 pounds of food. That's over a 60% increase in our normal workload. But the fact is our neighbors need help and we want to be there. So we're just trying many innovative ways to get food where it's needed most.
What are, you don't have to give a whole list because they can go to your website and we'll give that in a second, but what are some of the things that you really need for people to donate? Because typically we say, oh yeah, we've got some canned soup and we've got this and non-perishable. Anything in particular you need?
Well, those non-perishables are like gold to us at the moment. We are getting a lot of produce and what have you from our partners as well as federal commodities, which is great. But canned goods and boxed goods are hard to come by. So if people want to do kind of neighborhood or even in their own home food drives to help us out, that'd be great. And then donations where we can go out and purchase food at some very low cost, that helps us a great deal.
Try and keep the shelves full so you can do what you, because just to remind the folks at home, you don't go to the food bank and get food. The food bank works with other agencies who work with folks and various organizations who can get the food to people. So we just want to make that clear. Up on screen, I want to put a couple of things. Feedcommunitynow.org. That's now what can they learn from that?
Well, that's our virtual food drive. So one of the key strategies we have is purchasing emergency food boxes for community members, for families, whether they be senior families or just kind of your young families, as well as backpack product that we're purchasing. So that helps people be able to make a decision about what they want to help us purchase and get into the hands of our neighbors.
So I'll say that again for the radio listening audience in WSJS. It's www.feedcommunitynow.org. That's the virtual site that Eric wanted you to check out. And also the general website for the food bank. I want you to check that out, learn more about what they're doing and make donations, that kind of thing. The Second Harvest NWNC.org, which stands for Northwest North Carolina. As Eric said, he covers 18 county area. Second Harvest NWNC.org, and I hope you will do that. Eric, I want to thank you so much for what you're doing, what you're continuing to do, and thanks for being here and helping us.
Thank you. We appreciate all the community does, and thank you to you, Jim.
All right. We'll be right back. Back now on Triad Today, and I'll bet you or somebody in your family has heard the term hack. Not me. My wife calls me a hack, but that's a whole different thing. But hacking, elections being hacked, security being hacked, internet, your websites, your Facebook. What are we going to do about it? I just happen to have a gentleman with me here today who is an expert on cybersecurity. Let's meet him right now. Bryce Porter comes to us by way of Massachusetts and New England, a good family man with 6 kids. And he is Chief Information Security Officer for UNCG, my alma mater. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, explain what you do in terms of cybersecurity, because as everybody at the university knows, they don't claim me as a graduate because I don't know anything about technology. But what are your responsibilities? What do you do?
Primarily, me and my team are responsible for making sure that the data and the critical systems that are used to deliver knowledge to the students, as well as support those who do that, stay safe, that they're free from breach by hackers or identity thieves or even natural disasters like hurricanes.
Right.
Anything that could compromise the confidentiality, the integrity, or the availability of that data.
And I guess people don't think about it being so important with a university when they hear things on TV like, well, Sony or CBS was hacked, or this industry or Facebook, but it's important at the university.
It's very important. I mean, we have 20,000 undergrad students whose personally identifying information is on a system or on several systems at the university. And so if we don't keep that safe, we're sort of dealing those folks a bad hand at the very early part of their careers. And that's not to mention the almost 3,000 faculty and staff and administration, critical payroll data, all the things that happen in a small town happen at a university.
And we don't forget that, well, it is, you're like your own small town, but at the same time, as Chancellor Gilliam talks about, there's a lot of outreach going on. You support vendors and a lot of people around in the area, so
that's right.
You got a security issue there. I want to read something very quickly off of an email that you guys sent me, and you were quoted as saying that cybersecurity isn't a technical problem, it's a human problem.
That's right.
What did you mean by that?
Well, security starts with people's decisions and what they do in terms of deciding whether to protect something, to keep it secret, to keep it safe, and how they go about doing that. Cybersecurity is a human issue, but fortunately there are a lot of technology solutions that help keep things protected, encrypted, things like that. If you can lock your laptop, if you can lock your phone with a password, make it a strong password, things like that, those are all human decisions that affect the outcome of the security of your data.
I was going to ask you, give me some other tips, because I want, not that, I still have a flip phone, so you're not going to be able to help me. but talk about some of these things. I want to drive the point home of things we can do to protect ourselves and not do stupid things either. Give me an idea, because I know people, say things and put things out there that maybe they shouldn't. But
sure. And a lot of these things aren't surprising. They're things you've probably heard before, but don't make your password very simple and easy to guess. Don't make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make it a complex password. Don't use the same password for every system, because if data is breached at a company that you do business with, you mentioned Target or Equifax or one of these companies, your password probably is part of that data breach. And if you're using that same password everywhere, well, that means your password's breached everywhere that you've used it.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on your bank statements, things that hackers and activists might try and attack, making sure that you question any transactions that you don't recognize. These are basic security principles that are going to go a long way towards helping make sure that you keep your data safe.
Let me just, we didn't rehearse this or anything. I was just curious because we've never met until just now. Why did you want to go into this kind of career?
I spent a long time. I have 26 years in information technology, and I sort of came up with the industry a little bit. And as the industry matured, there were certain events, 15, 20 years ago, and at the time I was in a military contracting position, and there were hackers that attacked military systems, and the U.S. Army responded by passing sweeping regulations calling for information security officers at every base, at every command post. And so I was interested because I ran systems, network systems that were under attack. I saw the attacks coming in, I saw the traffic, and I wanted to know how to do a better job of protecting our systems. And so I volunteered. I kind of stepped up and said, train me to be a network security manager, train me to be an information security officer.
Great?
Yep.
Well, I just appreciate what you do. Up on screen, let me put a couple things up here. UNCG.edu is a website, and then you can also go to itsnews.uncg.edu to get all sorts of information about what's going on around the university, and even the topics we were talking about today. But I really do, seriously, all joking aside, I really appreciate what you do, because even for stupid people like me that are technologically not advanced, You give good advice. You do a great service to the university and to the whole community that depends on the university. And I appreciate what you do.
Thanks very much. Really, it's a wide approach because we do a lot of research at UNCG too. So it's not just our local community. It's really the world. We're protecting the world.
Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and of course we're all aware that there have been ramifications of the pandemic for all of us in one way or another. I want to wrap that into a conversation about what's going on in the arts and High Point Theater specifically with our good buddy, and he's with me right now. Dave Briggs, director of the High Point Theater. Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thanks, Jim. It's always a pleasure.
Before we get to some of the upcoming performances, what and in which way, what kind of ways have you sort of adapted, or are you transitioning and keeping an eye on the governor's orders of stay at home and what's closed and what's not closed? What are you and your team doing at the theater?
Well, sure. We've got, first off, we rescheduled over 75 dates from March, April, May, now June and July into August, September, October, and into 2021. So it's been really a huge change for us. But the other thing that we've done is that we're having to look at how are our patrons going to be when they come back. We want them to feel welcome. We want them to feel like they're going to be safe when they come to see us. So in a 900-seat theater, if we get 50% capacity, well, that's 450 if you do the math, but in reality, it's probably about 300 or 350 because of the spacing requirements that actually have to take place. So we've got housekeepers that are coming in. We fog the area with disinfectant. We'll have sanitation stations available. Making sure folks are socially distancing when they go to get a snack or a beer or a glass of wine.
Right. So you're really having to think this stuff through
when we get to the bathroom.
Yeah,
there's an organization called Event Safety Alliance that has produced a document called the reopening. It's a reopening document. It's about 30 pages long. A lot of really common sense things, but we're taking that very seriously. Of course, we really don't know. Right now it's 10 people. Phase 2, it might be 50 people. It might be that some of the restaurants get to open up partially. Entertainment venues in general are hurting significantly.
What are some of the local performers doing just to cope with all this?
Well, there's an awful lot of live streaming going on. I know Carolina Theater does it. Actually, you see one of the local TV stations is doing some live streaming, local musicians as well. We've looked into it. I have a problem with doing live streaming, aside from the licensing. If I'm going to do live streaming, I want to bring in my regular artist and do that. Right. And so we are looking down the road at the possibility of, if we have to limit our audience size, we'll sell tickets for the show for folks who can come and see, and we'll socially distance them. And then we may live stream that and then sell that on a pay-per-view sort of.
And we'll give the website in just a couple minutes where people can sort of see what's been moved and canceled and what's coming up. But before we run out of time, let's give a plug in for several things that we're pretty sure are going to happen.
We hope so.
November 14th, looking ahead, this is going to be big. Ben Vereen.
Yeah, Ben Vereen's going to be with us. Of course, he was on Broadway in Pippin. He was in Roots. 100 other different TV shows and movies. Brilliant performer, song and dance guy. It's going to be a great night of entertainment.
So is he going to perform, or is he going to do, what is he going to do?
He's going to sing, he's going to dance, he's going to tell stories.
How old is he now?
He is
his 80s or
74, I
something
believe.
Like that. What a great performer. John Barry, November 29th.
John Barry is the consummate country music entertainer. He was Entertainer of the Year back in the 90s a couple of different times. This is half of his Christmas show and half of his regular show. Songs from Your Love Amazes Me to Oh Holy Night. It's a spectacular show.
And you're talking about country music. I'm thinking about rockabilly and all sorts of stuff. Our good buddy Crash Craddock was going to come in August, but I think we're going to move that. And
probably going to move that into the 21 season. Yeah.
Mike Super in the spring.
Mike Super is an amazing magician. He was runner-up on America's Got Talent a few years ago. He does things that I can stand this close to you, 6 feet or less, and I have no clue how he does it. It's just amazing.
He makes things disappear?
I've got some folks I'm thinking.
No.
But
my wife is trying to social distance me out of the house.
Right out of that.
She's a magician too, that way.
Hey, if I can do a shout out, my daughter is a senior in high school, graduating from Penn Griffin School for the Arts. Going to be off to college in the fall. this has just really changed our lives as
I
well.
bet it has, and it's too bad that some of the kids can't do their regular graduation, but I know you're proud of her.
We are.
And up on screen, highpointtheater.com for more information about all the big events. You can call the box office 887-3001 because you want to go ahead and get your season tickets, and especially looking toward the Ben Vereen show and all sorts of things. Dave Briggs, you're going to stay over and help us with the roundtable?
I am indeed.
All right. We'll be right today. Just about time for the roundtable, but another shout out to the good folks, John Wisden and his staff here at the Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Please come out and see it. SeniorBotanicalGarden.org is the website. Welcome center, gift shop, everything's reopened. Come on out. Also pick up your copy of Yes Weekly. It's free, and just like Ogie, it's great. I don't know what that means. Next to me on my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster journalist. Behind him, our good friend Dave Briggs, director of High Point Theater, who you saw earlier in the program. Rounding out the group, Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants, who, as you guys may not know, Keith is actually President Trump's empathy coach. I don't know if you knew that.
How did I know he was going to say something like that?
All right, now, guys, let's get serious. This thing really troubles me about what happened in Georgia. In most states, citizens can make an arrest if they see someone committing a felony or fleeing from a scene. I understand that. But recent events in Georgia have prompted, rightfully so, outrage over vigilante justice. Should Congress step in and pass a federal law that prohibits armed citizens from pursuing someone or making an arrest over just superseding those state laws? Ogie.
My gut reaction says yes, because there's so many racial overtones. It seems like it's more often than not white on black.
Right.
White guys pursuing a black guy.
White rednecks going after an innocent.
But looking at the big broad picture, I don't know that it would really have to be worded really specifically to make it enforceable.
Dave.
Yeah, I actually agree with Ogie, believe it or not. I'm a little worried. Yeah, there you go. I'm a little worried about the federal government being involved in state law, and I don't think this is one of those actions. I think in this instance, I think you let the authorities actually take their course. But this vigilante justice is
well,
bad.
it's gotten out of hand. Keith.
It has.
I don't think you let the authorities locally take their course, because number one, the authorities locally did not do anything. They passed on this. Two prosecutors passed on it based on their relationship with these individuals.
Right.
So the federal government should step in, and there should be strict laws about vigilante. I have never seen yet, maybe somewhere, but I have never seen a black person pursue a white individual like that.
Yeah.
To citizen arrest. I haven't seen that yet.
Maybe
somewhere, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, maybe put it under a federal civil rights law or something.
It has to be. What they did was a hate crime.
It sure was.
I mean, plain and simple. It was a hate crime.
I agree. All right, following the massacre, this is another sad story. Following the massacre of 22 people in Nova Scotia, I guess if there's any good news in this, the Canadian Parliament just enacted a ban on all assault weapons. Guys, when, if ever, will America do the same thing and ban assault weapons? Ogie.
Well, once the Democrats get in office, that's when. You know, I love Nova Scotia. God bless them.
Yeah, tough thing. Dave.
Canada already had some of the strictest gun laws. I don't see it happening in the United States, not in my lifetime.
Key.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult with the money that the gun lobbyists put in for those to be enacted. But there should be a law against assault weapons. I mean, who are we hunting with these things?
Exactly. Joe Biden has already said he'll pick a female running mate. Okay, let's run with that for a second. But some supporters are now saying that Uncle Joe ought to choose a minority woman. Now, the question is, would that help him or hurt him? And even if it's a white woman or anybody else, does a woman in general help or hurt his candidacy? Ogie.
Oh, it's going to help. It's going to help, no doubt. I don't think it has to be a woman of color, but I think Kamala Harris would be A-OK.
She was our pick for president early on.
Absolutely.
Dave.
What about choosing the person who's best suited for the job, whether it's a woman or a man or...
Yeah, but he's already cornered saying he's going to pick a woman.
Well, then I don't necessarily think it's going to help him. It probably won't hurt him.
Keith.
I think that it's going to help him if he picks a woman. Now, right now, Cuomo out of New York is a very popular guy around the country due to his actions with this pandemic. But I would not limit myself to that, even though I would move toward doing that. I would not come out and say that I'm going to pick. I wouldn't let them know what I'm doing until I did it.
But he can't go back on it now, though, can he?
No. He's going to have to pick a woman, and I think if he picks a woman, it should be a minority woman, because he needs to show up the black vote that left last time with Hillary Clinton.
And that's assuming he even makes it past the convention, frankly.
Right, exactly. And folks at home may not know this, but guys, behind the cameras there, the crew from McWhorter Concepts, they're all women. And they've already told me they're willing to run as the vice president for Joe Biden. Or maybe I heard that wrong. Maybe they said they were willing to run
put your
from.
Mask on there. Put your mask
They're
on.
willing to run from Joe Biden, I think is what they said. All right, the state of California is now paying shuttered restaurants to make meals for millions of elderly folks. Now, this is a wonderful gesture, guys, but are you okay with taxpayer money being used to pay restaurants to make food, Ogie?
Absolutely. I have no problem whatsoever with that.
Good idea there.
Good idea.
Dave Briggs.
We already do it for school children. This is an opportunity to open those restaurants up and get them working.
Keith.
It's a great idea.
That's all you're going to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. Yeah.
I was afraid you were going to, say something about my weight or something.
No.
Restaurants
Not today.
making food for me. All right. Finally, guys, realtors in Louisiana are having a hard time. This is a true story. They're having a hard time finding someone to take possession of a haunted house, even though the owners are willing to give it away for free. Now, guys, would you live in a haunted house if it was given to you? Ogie.
Believe it or not, another true story, I have lived at a haunted house for free. My lawyer got me to be a caretaker of a house he said was haunted, and my brother saw a ghost in that house. So yeah, I've done it.
Your
brother saw a ghost.
You
yeah.
weren't.
Yeah, for real.
Dave, I don't even know how to read. Dave.
I've worked in a couple of haunted buildings, I think, but I don't know about the house.
Keith, would you live in a haunted house if it was given to you?
I got some people that I will move into the house. I got a few people that I'll move right in.
Yeah. Some zombie friends of yours.
That's exactly right.
All right, well, that's all the time we have.
Rent-free.
That's right, yeah. That's all the time we have. Oh, except for this, and this is, with all the bad news that's been going on, this is good news. Good news from Montana. The state is reopening now, and it's really good news for the tiki bars there. As you know, the tiki bars have it where the mermaids, jump in these big aquariums and swim around. They are going to be careful, though. I understand that the mermaids are going to have to keep 6 fins apart. So that's just what I understand.
That's
I didn't
what
make
you
that
understand.
Up.
Okay,
For all of
yeah,
us here on
okay.
Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next time.